Jay Kanzler in the studio. Kathy Helbig, she is with Experienced Real Estate Partners, joins the McGraw Show every week. How are you this morning?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I am doing great.
Hi,
Listen,
Kathy.
and
Hi,
look,
Cal.
there's Kelly Jackson. There's
Good to
Willie
see you,
Springer
girl.
over there, you know.
I know. It's been a couple weeks.
So one of the things that seems to be on the news and on the radio a lot lately is inventory.
Really?
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, wait, really? Everybody lying to me?
Shocking.
Wait a minute. I thought you were saying
apparently we're-
inflation.
yeah.
I was like, well, that one too. Yeah.
Apparently, we're millions of units short across the
Yes.
country. In fact, they had a thing today, rent in Manhattan.
Yes.
$5,000 a month is
Yes.
where we're at.
I think the national average on rent is like it's up 5.6% or something like that. So
In your business here in St. Louis locally, what does
Yes.
the inventory look like? Because I know my niece keeps being outbid every single time.
Yeah, well, the inventory actually, we're probably at about, I don't know, not quite half of what we were seeing pre-pandemic this time of the year. Summer is usually when you have the most inventory. June and July. This week we saw in the snapshot that I take a look at every single week is kind of like the St. Charles, St. Louis, Lincoln, Washington, the surrounding St. Louis metro areas. And we had 526 new listings come on the market. I remember back when I used to pull these up a couple years ago, it would be more like 1,500, 1,700, 1,800
Oh, wow.
new listings. We have 159 coming soon, so maybe that's the house for your niece. There's 159 that will be hitting the market in this general area. But more interesting is the category under price changes. So just the snapshot says there's been 323 price changes in the last 7 days. Now, part of that is a few of new construction. A price change could mean up also. So when I went in there and looked at that a few days back, there was a percentage of those, I would say probably 10 or 15% of that was new construction houses that actually raised their prices because a lot of times they'll put them in the MLS at a base price and then maybe they've added some things to it so they adjust it later. But still, we're probably looking at 200 and, uppers 200 of price changes, which is indicative of what's happening with the economy, with rates and things like that.
So you're saying that the price change, they're
Yeah.
raising the price, right?
Well, no, I'm saying
they're
the
going-
majority of those price changes are
decreasing.
lowering prices.
Okay.
Correct. So that means that things are slowing a little bit. The rates going up have affected things because we're still in July, and July is usually pretty atypical busy month. And we were having a meeting yesterday talking about it's a little bit quiet compared to what it has been.
Well,
Now,
it was just crazy before. I mean, it was out of control.
it was out of control before, which you kind of lose your compass on what's normal at this point. Because if our hair isn't on fire right now, we're like, what is happening?
In that inventory, Kathy, is that broken down in terms of price ranges? As I said, my niece this is going to be her first home.
Yeah.
So you're in that starter home range. And then there are other people that my age that are probably looking to downsize as well. What's that inventory
So
look like?
this is a general number, but I can tell you it's not the best news for that first time home buyer's price point. It's just the St. Louis affordability factor has been creeping up. And then we've talked about before on the show, there's many hedge fund buyers and institutional buyers that have been in town for the last several years because we did have such affordable housing. And their target price point is called a buy box, is that $150,000 to $450,000 price range. And so they've bought up a lot of the inventory. It's just not as prevalent. The home sale prices under that $400,000 mark is just not as prevalent. So the buyers that are in that price point do need to figure out what they can do to compete. So we are still seeing competition in those type of houses. We're still seeing competition in certain pockets of town or a particular house that has a lot of awesome features. We have competition for that. But then we have these other houses that you think, oh, yeah, we're going to have the normal action on it. And then it had just a few showings and maybe one offer.
Right.
So, again, early indicators.
We always hear about the million-plus houses. That's kind of, I don't know, it's a group. It's not maybe necessarily a million-plus. What's that market like?
Also starting to soften a little bit. Yeah. But there's definitely more homes available, usually in that price point. It's that under 400, and then even that middle tier price point was real challenging because a lot of times the people that are in that 400 to 800 price point, they have a house to sell and a house to buy. So then it's like, I don't want to sell my house until I know if I can buy a house. I don't want to be without a house. So then they get locked up. So then that inventory gets locked up, and then we just keep perpetuating the problem.
Well, give us some hints. I mean, you are the expert. You are the pro. How do we navigate through this? You have some advice for folks?
Yeah, definitely make sure understand all your financing options. There's some amazing programs out there right now. I know our lender partner, has a cash advantage program. So if your niece can't go in with a non-contingent offer or a cash offer, you can hook up with some of these great lenders in town that they'll do a full underwriting of that buyer, and then give a guarantee to the seller that if anything goes sideways, that they will pay the seller $5,000-$10,000. There's those programs out there, so that's really interesting to the seller. They like that. And then there's also another program where basically they guarantee that buyer, so then you can go in as a cash offer or as a non-contingent offer, I should say, because if you go through their program, they feel comfortable enough with you to say, we'll put our money behind you. If something gets delayed or something happens, we'll close for you with the cash.
And
so the mortgage company will close. Now, if you take advantage of it, you will owe them whatever the cost of that program is, which isn't that much. And you're only paying them if they have to step in and close for you. So it allows you to negotiate and get your foot in the door when you've been losing out to all these other people that maybe had a cash or were comfortable enough going in with non-financing deals. So it gives people that don't have the financial wherewithal a little bit of fighting ability to go in and win some of these offers. So you might have her check something like that out.
Absolutely. Anything else? Anything that, in terms of if I'm a seller, it's not the crazy market anymore, what should I be doing?
Well, if you're a seller, you need to start thinking about getting your house in order, because we're starting to get away from, we're back to, I think we need to paint. Well, we might need to fix that carpet because...
And that's important because before it was like, it didn't matter. Like, I don't care.
You could be missing a roof and people would be bidding on it.
Yeah, up until a couple years ago, I was redecorating people's houses for several months before we went on the market. And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't even think you have to clean. Just put a sign in the yard, right. So now we're back to, if it's not in good condition and it doesn't have a lot of great features, then you might be the one that's sitting on the market the first weekend and calling me, and we're talking about a price reduction because it didn't go under contract. So think about that, sellers. It's still a great market for you, though, so I don't want to make people think that it's totally stopped. As far as that, it still is a seller's market, but we're moving towards a balanced market at some point. So people need to get off the fence and make some changes. And buyers have new hope out there. So if you've been losing for a while, get your boxing gloves back on and get back in the ring.
How can they find you, Kathy Helbig, and your group for help? You
can find us at our website at experience-re.com. Or our office number is 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653. We'd love to help anybody out there. Also, all realtors listening, we've got a great realtor event that is happening tomorrow. So hit up our webpage or reach out to me directly for the information. We've got some amazing people coming in from out of town to talk about their experience with what's happening in the market in their place and what we could do to get ready for the shift. So check it out tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Kathy Helbig. There you go.
Thank you.